Every time. Well, almost every time. Well, apparently, Thunderbolts originally had a version where the team died, according to Wyatt Russell, while he was hanging out at MegaCon. And there he is saying, yep. Yeah, that's what I said. Hey, he's U.S. agent. Yeah. Yeah, he is. Anyway, Wyatt Russell says there really was a version of Thunderbolts where the whole team died. The comment comes out of MegaCon Orlando, where attendees members on X posted that Russell said all of the Thunderbolts were originally supposed to die. The quote quickly made the rounds online over the weekend. That also lines up with what we, and by we mean Cosmic Book News, already had been reported back in February 2024, when The Hollywood Reporter said earlier drafts of the movie centered on a mission that was supposed to end with their deaths. Well, the opening act of the movie is they were manipulated on that mission to kill each other. Then they realized, hey, we've all been sent here by the same, biatch, Anyway, yeah, it's not coming out of nowhere. Yeah, it had been floating around. So back in 2024, Hollywood Reporter reported, because, that's what Hollywood Reporter does. They report. Marvel had brought in Joanna Kalo, I guess, or Kahlo, to work on the script, and added that a source familiar with previous drafts said the movie was originally built around villains and anti-heroes. Yeah, that's the point of Thunderbolts, heading into a mission that would have ended with the deaths of the team. I seem to recall it's like Black Widow would be the only one to survive, and maybe one other. Something like that. Anyway, Russell's MegaCon comment now makes it sound like that idea was real and made it pretty far into development before Marvel changed course. Yeah, because it's like, what's the point? Besides, I don't know when they revealed the logo with the asterisks on it, because the point of the movie was to end up that they were the new Avengers. But anyway, that also helps explain why the old rumor never fully went away. At the time, it sounded extreme, but Russell now appears to have confirmed that Marvel had at least one version of Thunderbolts where the ending was far darker than what fans got. Yeah. I mean, one of the team members does die in the movie. And apparently that was supposed to happen later into it too, or something. I can't remember exactly, but she's not in the picture here. But anyway, Marvel obviously did not go through with wiping out the team. The studio had already confirmed that cast members from Thunderbolts are part of Avengers Doomsday, with Wyatt Russell, Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, Louis Pullman, David Harbour, Hannah John Kamen. Why would you give your daughter the name John? I've never understood that. She doesn't look anything like a John. Anyway, and others named in Marvel's official cast rollout. Oh, yeah, all the middle nobodies. These are the big stars. So if an early draft really killed everyone off, that ending was never going to survive once Marvel decided that Thunderbolts would feed into the next Avengers movie. Yeah, you got to get a team from somewhere. I figured Falcon would want to form a team, stuff like that. But with who? So I guess at some point they got to cram all this into Avengers Doomsday, but I guess he'll be a part of this team too. Or maybe he'll form his own with Thor, I guess. Anyway, Russell's comments makes the rewrite sound... I don't know. The rewrite sound less than like fan theory and more like one of those major Marvel pivots that happen behind the scenes before release. Yeah, but this is kind of normal. This happens all the time. After a movie's said and done and stuff, and especially if it becomes a hit, there's more material written about it and stuff like that. And they'll produce like the art of such and such movie, a book, and you get all that concept art, and then you see there was all these different versions of how it was going, and then they decided to scrap it for whatever reason. Up into actual production, this will happen. That's like when you get your reshoots, and this movie too was reshot. But that's Marvel has taken that to a whole other level. But nevertheless, that would happen, and also scenes. You remember the deleted scenes and stuff like that you would get, and a lot of times they would cut it because, well, it's a good scene, but it's very repetitive of another scene that we decided was more viable, and you pick one or the other, and that sort of stuff. So there's always like, wow, it was going to be this or that, and they ended up not going that way. That's pretty standard. So it's not. Is it really a major deal? It is, in the sense that they were going to wipe out all of them, and then that's it. I mean, what if the movie? There was really no guarantee. It's not. I liked it. I liked the movie. It's not great and everything, but it was the best of the 3 movies they put out that year, last year, I believe. But it had no chance of becoming a smash hit. So I guess they thought, well, this will be this little quiet film that might and all that. But even if it did, you've wiped out all the characters, It is. So I don't know how seriously this was taken, because like I said, I thought I had heard that a couple of them, most notably that Black Widow 2 would survive. And that's right. But a lot of the team members wouldn't make it. And it's the kind of thing about how high the stakes are. Instead, they kill Taskmaster. Oops, I spoiled that, didn't I? But that's it. A lot of times you might, well, maybe another one would go. And, to give more oomph to the stakes and the serious dire straits that the team is in and all that. But anyway, not killing off the Thunderbolts also fits in with what seems to be Feige's play-it-safe approach to the MCU's previous 3 movies, which also includes Captain America Brave New World and Fantastic Four. The big question is, will Feige play it safe with Avengers Doomsday? Well, he can do the stuff where everybody gets wiped out, and by leaks, it sounds like that is exactly what happens. And then Doom resurrects everybody on Battleworld for Secret Wars. Something of that nature will occur, so it doesn't matter. Whereas in Thunderbolts, it would have. Unless the Sentry resurrects everybody in that one at the end, because at least in the comic books, he does have that kind of power. He just doesn't really control it or whatnot. But anyway, there you go. So, yeah, more than likely, there was a script where everybody died. Apparently everybody. Again, like I thought it had been, almost all of them, but a few would survive, most notably Black Widow. I'm going to stick with my theory that that's how it went. I don't care what Wyatt says. Even though, he was there. But anyway, it's always interesting. Hey, what might have been and that kind of stuff. But in the end, that's all it is. Only one of them died. The rest will be in Avengers Doomsday. But then again, with that sort of thing, maybe even the one who died in Thunderbolts, Taskmaster, will show up in Secret Wars. Highly likely. Because nothing ever matters anymore. Until they quit talking about multiverse and they'll move on back to basic movies again. I assume.